In this video, I'm going to look at creating a one variable data table. And so in the one variable data tables, you can do a quick what if analysis that shows the impact of changing one variable. For example, in this spreadsheet, it's units sold. So you can see different levels of sales here from 10,000 all the way up to 35,000. And I can see the impact of those different sales figures on revenue, on expenses, and on net income. So this number here directly corresponds to the number in the income statement, as we'll see when we switch to the spreadsheet and I start working on building my data table. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my workbook here, and I've already created the basic structure for my data table. I'm just going to add some formulas, and I'm going to add my different sales amounts, and then we'll go ahead and create the data table. So across the top here in row 4, I need to reference the different cells in the income statement that correspond to these column titles. So I'm going to reference the units sold, I'm going to reference the total revenue, the total expenses, and the net income. And I'm going to do that by just typing in a formula, an equal, and the cell address for each one of those items. So for expenses, the total expenses are in B25. And finally, the net income is in B26. So I have the numbers now for Excel to work with. I just need to create my variables. And I'm going to do that by using the fill handle and creating a series. I'm going to start out by entering 10,000, and I'm going to go ahead and put the comma in because it'll format the numbers as I type. And I'm going to do the same with 15,000. So I've set up the basic pattern in my series here. I want to start out at 10,000 and increase that number by 5,000, or increase it by 5,000 unit increments. So I'm going to select those two cells, E5 and E6, and then I'm going to grab the fill handle, and I'm going to drag that down until my screen tip says 35,000. That's where I want to stop. So now I've got all of the input information for my data table. I can go ahead and create it. So I'm going to select E4 through H10, which is the area that the data table will fill when I'm done. I'll then go to the Data tab, to the Data Tools group, to the What If Analysis button, and click on it. And you'll see Data Table in the last item in the menu. And so here's the Data Table dialog box. And since we're using a one variable data table, we only need one input cell. And it's going to be a column input cell because my variables are in the column here. So I'm going to go ahead and click in column input cell. Now the input cell should reference the cell in your worksheet that these numbers refer to. So in this case, we're talking about varying the units sold. So the units sold figure in the income statement is found in cell B4. So I'm going to go ahead and click on B4, and then I'm going to click OK. And there you see I have rapidly calculated the impact of those different sales volumes on revenue, on expenses, and on net income. So I can see from this, if we only make 10,000 discs, we're going to really have a huge net loss. So this is a quick way of doing a what-if analysis with one variable and looking at the impact that will have on many different items.